I'm Charlotte, a journalist with the Steambird. It's a pleasure to meet you. If you've got time, would you be open to doing an exclusive interview? My journalistic instincts tell me that there's a treasure trove of news in you just bursting to get out. Now that her father's name's been cleared, and the case of the serial disappearances of young women is resolved, I guess Navia must be able to finally breathe a little easier. I don't know why, but somehow she's found herself at the epicenter of all sorts of bad news lately. Luckily for her, I've been snatching up all the articles that mention her and doing whatever damage control I can before they get published. and, then getting told off constantly by Wriothesley for interfering. But I think Navia deserves a break, so I'm happy to take one for the team. Also, she agreed to do an in-depth exclusive interview, which definitely sweetens the deal. Oh, surprise, surprise. Lyney refused an interview with me once again. Do you know how many times that is now? Actually, I've lost count. But never mind. Evading me only further confirms my suspicion that he's hiding the news story of a lifetime. As long as I keep digging, I'll find it. And when I do, it will shake the world like no other news report in history. No matter what question you pose to her, Lynette just calmly lowers her eyes with an expressionless look on her face. It's like she's some sort of clockwork doll. I'm really tempted to write an article titled something like "The Genius Magician's Puppet Assistant, Magic's Best Kept Secret." But I have a sneaking suspicion that even that wouldn't get a reaction out of her. Clorinde is one of the most well-known champion duelists in Fontaine, but she's also the most mysterious. I have a source who tells me that she uses some sort of mystical ritual to keep her weapon as good as new. Could this be the secret behind her famously undefeated track record in the duelist ring? I'd love to spring that question on her one day, but I don't think I'll get the chance. She's publicly stated that she doesn't accept interviews. So, did you get to meet the Duke in person? Yeah? Any nuggets of information that I should know about? Never mind the credit coupons, the coupon cafeteria. If a man will not work, he shall not eat. That's all just generic filler. I'm talking about personal anecdotes about the man of Meripede himself. What do you mean, confidentiality? Oh, not you two. We had a deal. That does it. Remember that gigantic feast I treated you to? I want my money back. Get your butts back to prison and do your time, you swindlers, you. Emelie makes the best perfume in the whole court of Fontaine. She introduced me to this amazing one the other day that works as an insect repellent, antiperspirant, and deodorant all in one. Oh, it's a total lifesaver for someone like me who spends so much time zooming around all over the place. I actually sprayed some on my wrist today. Go on, take a whiff. Oh, it's heavenly. I did a little snooping around at Chiori boutique once. Aside from the wealthy housewives of Fontaine and the box-ticking tourists from overseas, some of the regular customers there look like really rough characters. Big muscly types with scars on their face, guys in masks and hats with their swords drawn. But they always come bearing gifts and acting like humble servants. Yeah, well, mostly. Anyone with a bad attitude is literally sent flying back out the door. Seriously, I snapped a photo of a guy being thrown out once. He was like 4 feet in the air. I've met Freminet a few times since being introduced. He quickly took an interest in Monsieur Verite, that's my camera/assistant, and even made a few improvements to my lenses. I gotta say though, my heart was in my mouth watching him completely dismantle Monsieur Verite in a matter of seconds. Amazing he managed to reassemble it just as swiftly. He seems very experienced. I was convinced he must have graduated from the Fontaine Research Institute, but he denied it. If you want to interview the Udex, you have to provide all the interview questions in advance and get them reviewed by the relevant department at the Palais Mermonia, who decide which questions to approve and which ones you're not allowed to ask. It's their way of making sure the interview goes off without a hitch. Oh, it's such a rigmarole. I'm losing the will to live just talking about it. Lady Furina has a very captivating presence. She was born to be a star. Wriothesley once assigned a journalist to shadow her, but he quit not long into the assignment. From what I've heard, the reason he left was that Furina insisted on seeing every photo he took of her right away, and she'd make him redo it if she wasn't happy with how it turned out. Apparently, she was so picky that the poor guy once had to take 127 shots of her in the same pose before she was content.